Well, I mean, you can't have success in terms of controlling your diet and your physique unless you have a long-term perspective. If you just want to be healthy and you want to look good, you got to work at it, and it has to be part of a daily routine.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. As you know, my name's Rick Nusky. I'm the host, and I always say that I have the best role in the world. Now, I'll tell you why that is, because I get to spend some time with some incredibly talented individuals, and my next guest today is no different. His name's Harris Silverman. Welcome to the show, Harris. How are you?
It's great to be with you.
Yes,
I'm
wonderful.
fine.
I'm looking at your wonderful smiley face on your website, and we'll go into detail about what it is we're going to be sharing with the My Future Business audience in a moment. But what has been happening in your neck of the woods?
I don't think a great deal. We have beautiful weather here in Florida.
Fantastic.
It's quite remarkable. I feel bad for my relatives who live a little further north.
Oh, yes. They're going through some blizzard environment at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty up there, but certainly good for business down here.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Well, they want to come down here, and they do.
Oh, of course, it's just a transient thing. I love it when I hear about entrepreneurs and business owners having the ability to be transient with their lifestyle to suit their chosen weather patterns. It's remarkable, and I guess that's a really good point to lead into what we're talking about today on the show, which is a product called Pro Fiber Food. Could you tell us a little bit about what that's about and how your business came to be what it is today?
Well, uh, like almost everyone, actually, after a certain age, you begin to store energy in your gut.
Right.
And I work out a lot. I work out, I do Pilates, and we do stretching and a little bit of yoga. And then I have a full weight gym in my house as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do like lifting weights. But despite all my efforts to maintain a healthy lifestyle, there I was, like everyone else, getting a little bit, I wasn't like what I was seeing. And I
Uh-huh.
had I hired a workout guy to kind of spur me up a little bit. And the first thing he did was he said, well, you certainly do. You're in good shape. Turn sideways and look at the mirror. And I did. And I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't like what I saw when I was fine straight on.
Mm-hmm.
Turned sideways. I said, oh,
Bit of a
well,
different
that
story.
caused me, as a doctor, that caused me to go to the computer and start doing lots and lots of research on why people tend to gain weight, especially as they get older. And, gaining weight and weight loss theories you could fill a library with books.
Yes.
I mean, everywhere, everybody has this particular issue. So I wanted to have a solution that would work for me, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on, my friends kept bugging me, and I started making it for them as well. But um, my research told me that losing weight is a very simple proposition. It takes X amount of calories, energy, to run your body every day. And if you take in excessive amounts of calories,
Mm-hmm.
your body will store that energy.
Right.
Where does it store it? Well, it just happens as we get older, just store it in the gut, and that results in the weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, there's many other implications. So I decided to create something that would address the weight issue primarily, and then it evolved from there. But basically, people eat too much because in many cases they're just hungry.
Right.
What causes you to be hungry? Well, in many cases, you eat by the clock. Some people just have breakfast, they have lunch, they have dinner, and they just eat by the clock. But in many cases, they eat too much because they're hungry. So one of the things that I studied and looked up was what makes you hungry?
Mm.
Well, to a great extent, if you have sugar, Rice Krispies, any type of sugar, even a banana, that is a very, very fast absorbing form of sugar or simple carbohydrate. When that gets ingested, your blood sugar goes up. What happens then? Your body makes insulin. Insulin clears the blood of excessive calories, especially sugar. And that excessive amount of energy is stored as fat or glycogen in the liver.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the key elements was, let's create something that has a glycemic index of 0, which means if you're pre-diabetic, which many people, as they approach 60,
Mm-hmm.
their blood sugar starts to creep up. Fasting blood sugar creeps up until it reaches a threshold of, let's say, 100. 100, you're pre-diabetic. You go to 120, 130 fasting blood sugar, you're diabetic. What does that mean? It means you have created a very, very significant cardiovascular risk going forward. And we all know what a cardiovascular risk is how it's going to end. You need to, if you want to live a nice, healthy life, maybe you should try to reduce your cardiovascular risk. And one of the ways is to control your consumption of simple and even some complex carbohydrates.
Mm.
So I created a drink. It's a powder, actually. Simple powder. All the ingredients are all natural. All the ingredients I ordered online, mixed them together, and over the course of several years came up with this mixture that actually works so well. I mean, I went from, just as myself as an example, I went
Yep.
from 212, and I'd probably been that way for a long time, and now I'm 180.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's a fair amount of weight loss. But the most important thing of all, when you're talking about any of this weight loss stuff, of which there's a million theories out there,
Mm-hmm.
you have to create in your life a habit. The habit, and my habit was, which I've offered to all my friends and my customers, start the day with a very, very healthy meal that will fill you up. Well, what fills you up? Well, first off, you need a source of energy
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to have to run your body on something. You don't want to run it on sugar or simple carbohydrates. We've already said that.
Yep.
That will evoke an insulin response. You want to run it on something else. Well, you have a limited choices. One is amino acids. And I like to work out, and so I like to have a bolus of amino acids in the form of whey isolate uh, after a workout.
Yep.
And whey isolate is 94% bioavailable. Gets absorbed beautifully, fast. And then I wanted also to have a slow form of energy in the form of casein, which is also, it's kind of a milk product, but it's a protein.
Right.
But it gets absorbed very slowly. So you have two sources of energy there. Then the other thing I wanted to add was another source of energy that would carry you even further into the day. And that's oil, monosaturated oil. What is a good source of monosaturated oils? Well, chia
Chia seeds.
seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, 4 or 5 different seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the main ones. But what you have to do in the process, you have to break the seed up because the protein in the seed, as well as the oil, is locked up in a kernel. You've got to break it.
Yeah.
And that makes it bioavailable. So now you have a source of long-acting energy because, fats are very dense in energy. And but at the same time, when you take a simple seed and you break it up using a coffee grinder, whatever you want to use,
Yeah.
you have preserved the husk. That is a terrific form of soluble fiber.
Fiber.
Soluble fiber is the best form of fiber for you to ingest on a daily basis. Most Americans don't get nearly enough soluble fiber. But if you mix the protein powder and the soluble fiber from the seeds, you have a really good source of energy. And once again, you have a glycemic index of 0. When you add water to this simple powder, Um, what does soluble fiber do? What's special about it? It forms a gel.
Right.
And if you were to take my breakfast drink, for example, and your mother calls you and you have a long conversation with her after you've shaken it up, you come back, it's not coming out of the shaker bottle. It's it's a gel.
It's a gel.
And
Absolutely.
that is how it works.
That's
You're
fantastic.
ingesting you're ingesting a fluid, it turns to a gel, it really fills you up and provides you with lots and lots of energy of the best sort.
It's
In
funny.
addition to,
Can I add?
yeah,
I
go ahead.
just when I have chia seeds in smoothies, I find that because of what you've talked about with the kernel, I find that the chia seeds oftentimes clump up and they actually expand. And part of your process is to actually crack those husks. Is that right?
You've got to crack the husk, otherwise you're not going to get the protein and the oil
Oh, well,
from
there
the
you
inside.
go. That's something I've learnt today.
But you will if you were a bird and eating chia seeds, you would be, you know, propagating the chia all over the place because it's going to come out the other end.
Yes, of
It's
course.
it's it's indigestible
Hmm.
unless you crack it up in a coffee grinder or whatever you want to use.
Yep.
But it's a very good source of soluble fiber in addition to the oils.
It's amazing. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I have a couple of questions, and the first one being that, given the what we know about diet, poor diet, mostly, are you seeing a shift towards better sources of energy like pro fiber in across society? What's happening in terms of how society's looking to change their dietary intake?
Oh, I think it's happening as we speak, especially in the millennials. They seem to be very tuned into eating better, all this organic.
Yeah.
I don't. This drink is basically organic
Yep.
because I can buy the raw ingredients that way. But the organic, when you buy something organic, it increases the cost. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to create a product that is so inexpensive that you will be inclined to use it every single day. And you've got to use it. You can't expect to have any results unless you commit yourself, hopefully forever, but if not, at least for months and months to use this. Because if you expect to lose weight, the best way to lose a quarter pound a week.
Yeah.
That's more than enough. You're now in a deficit. You're going to lose weight. You're going to like what you see. You're going
Yep.
to be motivated by the change in your body. And also, you're not going to sacrifice any energy at all. In order to get the morning started, I decided to add something else to the mix over time. That product was matcha tea. It's
Matcha tea.
ceremonial tea, matcha tea, ceremonial tea. It's a dense green powder, and it has so many antioxidants and other health benefits. It's just a wonderful thing.
Mm.
It doesn't taste very good. It's kind of earthy,
Very earthy.
very earthy. But this, I'm just using the powder, and I'm putting it as part of my mixture. And what it does, it also gives you some mental clarity because it does have, some caffeine in order to. It's like a coffee substitute. I
Yep.
still have coffee in the morning. It's a ritual for me. I have a cup of coffee. I read the paper, or whatever.
Yep.
Or I know millennials don't read the paper anymore, but to me,
The news
it's kind
feeds.
of like a habit. But
Absolutely.
habit is the key. You've got to make it a habit.
And you talk about habit, and I'd like to explore that a little bit more, if we might, in terms of your dietary intake is one thing with pro fiber, but is there a need to balance all the other aspects or the other things you do in your day to make the results even better for you?
Oh, absolutely. By itself, it's not going to do very much because your whole idea is in a 24-hour period to reduce your caloric intake. And the whole idea of this is if you're having lunch with a friend, it's a social event, you're going to talk business, it's social. If you're hungry when you go into the restaurant, you're going to order something that you don't need. People become crazy when they're hungry and they
Oh,
say, "Oh, I want a 12-inch sub." I'm really
I
hungry.
get hangry. I often say.
No, no. If you're not hungry, because this powder, this concoction has rendered you're just not hungry at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, which is the case. When you order, you'll just order a 6-incher. You'll have a very small amount of food because you're just not hungry. And actually, that carries through for the rest of the day. But you have to commit yourself to eliminating carbohydrates to some extent.
Right.
Carbohydrates. I mean, this is not a big secret anymore. The carbohydrates are the backbone of weight gain. And also, you want to avoid becoming a diabetic or a pre-diabetic because this increases your cardiovascular risk.
And that's
And as an aside,
it's absolutely pertinent, isn't it? Especially if you want to live a long, healthy life. You have children, you might have a business that you're running, so it's vitally important.
and exercise is wonderful. It makes you feel good. It gives you stamina. It gives you staying power. Makes you look good. If you're, I like to lift weights.
Yep.
I like what it does. But in the terms of controlling your weight, you cannot exercise yourself into a weight loss situation. You've simply got to control your caloric intake. And bodybuilders know that. Serious bodybuilders know that.
Yeah.
But you just can't say, I'm going to get on the treadmill. I'm going to work out for 30 minutes and then go out and have an all-American breakfast. you just negated all your exercise.
It defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Absolutely. There's another interesting aspect that came up during my research, and that is that the average person, his immune system, as we get older, your immune system is in your gut, because that's where foreign bodies, this is food, it's not part of your body, is passing through the body. If you have a leaky gut syndrome, it's called leaky gut syndrome, then antigens, that's some of the elements in your food, for example, wheat, which I think is almost like should be outlawed. But if the wheat protein passes through, I'm picking on wheat now, but if this protein passes through the gut wall, it can initiate an immune response. And there's research that's just starting to come out. It's very suspicious that there is a cross-reactivity between the immune system getting stimulated by the leaky gut and certain neurologic diseases, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It's not a direct correlation. There's many more factors involved with that. It's not as simple as that, but there is a correlation there. So one of the things that I found, which is it's called resistant starch. It's a white starchy material, in this case made from raw potatoes. You can buy it anywhere, resistant starch. When you eat resistant starch, because I put it in the powder, it doesn't get absorbed by the small intestines at all. That's why it's resistant to absorption. But it goes into the colon. What's in the colon? Your microbiome.
Yeah.
Boy, do they love that. When I first started adding it, I didn't know the proportions. So I just guessed. And all my friends, including myself, said they can't go to meetings anymore. I mean, they had to.
I just painted a picture.
And so finally, I had to reduce it until I had the effect.
Yeah.
But not the
other outcome.
Not the other outcome. And I think that for people approaching 60, having this healthy drink to start the day, and I also have desiccated vegetables because they're antioxidants and it makes the flavor better. It just works. It works, and it works well, but only for those people who have a commitment. No commitment, no results.
There's a bit of a process and bit of a behavioral change overall here, isn't there?
Well, I mean, you can't have success in terms of controlling your diet and your physique unless you have a long-term perspective. If you just want to be healthy and you want to look good, you got to work at it, and it has to be part of a daily routine. Just like, I don't know if you work out, I work out almost every day, and it's part of my life. I like to work out.
It's a wonderful sounding product, and I think anybody who's listening to the My Future Business show today, you'll be thinking to yourself, well, maybe that's me. Maybe I need to look at other ways to improve my dietary intake. So if people are looking for your product, where are they going to go?
Just profiberfood.com.
profiberfood.com. So that's PROFIBER food.com. I'll be making the links back to Harris's website. Harris, it's been an absolute treat spending some time with you on the My Future Business show today.
Well, you are a wonderful host, and I've enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.